Run them jewels fast, run them jewels fast, run them, fuck the slow mo.
Hey. Little bit of ring rest here, but okay. We're back here with Run the Julz podcast production. Already stumbling, off to a blazing start. My name is Patrick Julian, and I'm coming at you live now from a new Studio A in sunny Los Angeles, California, where I'll be for the next several months. And joining me as always on Hey Lady, you call him Dr. Jones, is my illustrious co-pilot Jake Haddon. Jake Haddon, say hello.
What's up, what's up? My name, as usual on weekdays, is Jake Haddon. Coming for you from a new Studio B in Connecticut. Sunny, snowy, sun flare Connecticut. You know how we do. Repping it up in the 203. Missed you guys.
Don't say that ever again.
Oh, and our lovely guest today.
Yeah, the guest coming live from his bedroom next to his disgruntled girlfriend. 617.
Yes, we're lucky to have our very good friend Nick Toyias coming us live from the beautiful and talented Newton, Massachusetts. So,
no doubt. I'm glad I could do this because I had a long day at work and just would love to dabble.
And we're gonna dabble. That should be one of our podcast names.
Yeah.
Jake, just dabbling with Nick, or a segment. That's a segment. Just dabbling with Nick.
I'm done with my segment.
Did we get the rights for The Boys Are Back in Town? Can we play that or no? Did the paperwork go through?
I tried to hurry that along. There's a lot of bureaucratic red tape.
Oh yeah.
Right now. Yeah, it's not the best. But we'll see. We'll get that done. Anyway, so we're here to do. It is today, the 27th of January, in the new year 2016. We haven't done this in quite some time. Mainly my fault of being trapped in the seventh circle of grad school hell for the first semester. And but now I have much more free time. My friends have more free time here, so we can get back into this. So what we're going to do tonight is run it back and have a rewind session on the best of 2015 in terms of film and TV. So we're going to first talk about TV. We're going to maybe touch upon what had some of the best seasons of already existing shows and also of new shows that might have premiered, depending on the three of our preferences and what we like the most. So I'm going to give the rock over to our guest to give us his first TV show that he wants to talk about that really resonated with you this year, Nick. What really blew your hair back?
I mean, I don't know if it necessarily blew my hair back, but when you want to talk, comfort food, when you get home and what's a quality show that you can always put on and, it's going to be a mainstay of your week, and that's got to be Brooklyn Nine-Nine. I mean, It's the definition of comfort food. It's got an ideal cast. The characters are fantastic. It's got that comedy where it's not too wacky and it's not too slapstick. I think it balances on that line perfectly. I mean, Terry Crews, could you ever go wrong? Andy Samberg is just embracing the fact that, maybe he's not meant for movies, but he's crushing television. And, Joe Lowe is just, as he plays Detective Charles Boyle, and he's
best
probably the
character
most,
in the show.
Yeah, I don't know what it is about him, but his character is absolutely fantastic.
Here's a question for you, Nick.
Mm-hmm.
Joe Lowe or the Captain?
So, the Captain just got a couple of nominations.
I love the Captain as well.
What did Brochure get? Pat, do you know?
The Captain, Andre
Brager or Brosier. I don't know how to pronounce it. Brager. I think it's Brager.
Brager, something like that.
Yeah. He just got nominated for Best Supporting Actor.
Yeah, he's gotten that nod before too. So he does a lot of good work that gets decorated all the time for awards. So he's legit.
So my whole thing is like, I mean, Jake, if you're really gonna ask that question, I think you got to give it to Joe, only because his dynamic with Andy throughout that entire series is what's really important. I think not necessarily because you're looking for any sort of character development, but just because I think you get the best of both when they're together. Whereas I think the captain actually has had a phenomenal season 3. I mean, it's not over, but season 3 has been great. But like, if I had to axe one of them, I think I'd have to axe the captain, because you can find someone to play that, that pragmatic role who's just his comedies, because he's so straightforward and like there's zero edge. He's not trying to be comedic at all,
Right.
and his
Super
monotonic style is what I think is hilarious.
Yeah.
That, and he's a big black dude, but we already have a big black dude in Terry Crews.
Are you saying that shows should only have one black dude?
No, but I'm saying because you put the hypothetical if I had to get rid of one.
Okay, no, I'm just wondering where you're coming from, because it sounded a lot like you were saying, let's keep them in check.
No, absolutely not.
Okay, good, because that would be really racist, and we don't do that here.
Right, sure, that sounds pretty bad.
Okay, good.
So Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
Yeah, I think that's I'm not going to call it the best show of the year, but in terms of like the best staple, I think you got to give it to Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
So consistency is a factor in your thought process for sure.
Oh, I don't see how it cannot. I mean, yeah, I'm not going to wait on Tuesday night at 9 o'clock to watch it, but Wednesday, if I'm not busy, I'm totally going to throw it on Hulu.
That's fair.
So the guy who runs Brooklyn Nine-Nine is somebody by the name of Mike Scheer from Connecticut. Pretty local. He's a Pats fan. I was listening to him on Bill Simmons the other day, and he's the guy. 30-minute short-form comedy, and he's done a lot of good work. And I was listening to him the other day, and I was thinking about I should really watch Brooklyn Nine-Nine, because I know it does really well, and I listened to him talk about it, and now you've talked about it, so I think that might have to be the next thing I do.
You gotta give it a go.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah, I think I will.
Have you watched any of Angie Tribeca?
No, I have not. Is it similar?
I think it's identical. What about you, Jake?
Still haven't had a chance.
It's honestly, I think they just tried to build off Brooklyn Nine-Nine, except have a female lead. So,
you can't go wrong with Rashida Jones.
No, Rashida's fantastic. I think it's a pretty good show. Same kind of humor. Definitely, I'd say it's actually probably more stupid humor than Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
Oh, okay. I just thought of what my definitely far and away favorite TV show was. I can't believe I didn't have it written down. Anyway, keep going.
No, I'd love to hear
yours. Stupid humor. Okay. Are we going to roll into my number one? I'm going to roll into my number one because I just feel inspired by what you just said, and I cannot believe. Go ahead, Jake. Did you have a take?
No, I didn't. Are we starting with number 1 and working our way down the list? I thought we were starting with 3 and working up to 1.
Okay, well, if we're going that way, then I'll wait, and I'll go to my third. All right, so for 3, I'm putting out there Jessica Jones.
Ooh, yes! I forgot about Jessica Jones.
Good, all right.
Give it a go.
You weren't going to talk about this, great, so we're not going to step on each other's points. So I thought Jessica Jones was an important TV show for the current state of TV, and just judging by the fact that it's a female-led TV show but done really well. I'm not putting it on the list because it's like we need to give women better representation and everything like that. I think that's probably the case, but I'm not putting it on here just to be PC. I think it was a really, really great show. I think Jake would agree. I'm not sure if you've seen it, Nick.
No.
But I thought it was excellently done. I thought it was great to see a female character lead a TV series and not have to be the typical, stereotypical, like chipper, upbeat, usual, what we're kind of given over and over, girl, and she can like be dirty and be like foul mouth and drink a lot and pretty physically violent at times, and I don't want to say act like a dude because women don't need to act like a dude to be interesting, but I think it was like one of the biggest things that resonated with me was there was one episode, Jake, that you might remember, where I think she gets criticized a lot for not smiling enough. And they were like, a lot of different people around the way were saying like you should smile, or Kilgrave were saying smile like to her all the time, and she was just like, no, I'm not going to do that. That's not my MO, that's not my personality, just to kind of paint on a pretty face and just to fake it for the world and be a front. So, and I read some articles about the importance of a character like Jessica Jones and how much a lot of people responded well to it, right on the heels of Daredevil having done so well in the spring. So Marvel's Netflix, arm there is doing really well, and I thought Jessica Jones was very clever, a pretty cool sort of investigation into what it would be like to somebody who can control other people's minds, and kind of a question of free will and not. So I thought there's a lot of interesting themes that were being explored in that show, and I thought it was shot very well. The storyline was good. There were good characters in there. So I thought that was my third favorite.
I just not sold on Kristen Ritter, so
You will be. I'm telling you, if you watch. First of all, great poll, Pat, because Jessica Jones, it's in a league of its own. That's why I didn't even put it on my list. I think Kristen Ritter is amazing. Like you said, you don't want to say acts like a dude, but certainly has the strength of character to own a show and command your attention for a season. Yes. And the writing of that show was amazing. I loved how dark it was, and I'll say that the pilot hook, I guess you could call it, like the final scene of the pilot that kind of launches you into the whole series and gets you hooked, is one of the best,
pilots,
series setter-uppers, series launching scenes I've seen on TV almost ever.
Well, she was in The Blacklist, wasn't she?
I don't watch The Blacklist. I'm not sure. She was in...
She had a cameo in The Blacklist.
Okay.
She did also...
She was, she's done a lot of different weird stuff. She was one of the leads in the Bee in Apartment.
Yeah, I Don't Trust the Bee.
Or something.
Yeah,
something like that. And she was in a season of Breaking Bad.
Right, she was what's her name? Shit. Tim's gonna kill me.
Carol Rhodes in Gossip Girl.
She was the girlfriend. She was the druggy girlfriend.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was Aaron Paul's love interest for like a hot minute, and but Nick, it's a fair point about Kristen Ritter, because before the show aired and I watched it, I was out on Kristen Ritter too. But when I watched it, everything Jake says is for real, because she can hold a lot of weight. And
did Netflix plug her for another season?
Yeah, they're gonna do another one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and also to your point about her like acting like the dude, quote unquote, she's very promiscuous, and she is the not the aggressor, but she definitely is the initiator of her sexual exploits. She does not get taken advantage of. She has her way with dudes.
Mm-hmm.
One in particular who
All right, don't
is
spoil
the
it.
man. Is the man.
So it's definitely worth checking out, Nick, when some bored, rainy, snowy weekend. If you and team just want to rifle through something, it's entertaining for sure. That was really good.
Yeah.
So we can kick the can over to you, Jake, so we can just keep moving along here. What do you got for your third best?
My number 3, it's kind of a toss-up. I'm not gonna say any of the Berlantiverse DC shows because the Flash and Arrow and Legends of Tomorrow are awesome in my book. But I'm gonna go with a curveball here, and I'm gonna say the Jinx on HBO.
Loved it.
Series about Robert Durst, which was
That would be in my top 3 as well.
amazing. Amazing. I loved every minute of it. The opening credits, I just get you in the mood for the kind of documentary style of it. The fact that it's a true story, the fact that it's real is baffling, and just it's just great. It really hit me where I lived. And it goes without saying, you should definitely watch The Jinx.
Have not seen it.
Dude,
You've not seen The Jinx?
Pat, here's the thing. Your prototypical... the guy is just unbelievable.
Yeah.
He's his own show because he's so cold and so unempathetic and just your typical serial. He's not a serial killer.
He's a psycho. He's a psychopath for sure.
Yeah.
He doesn't. He's very charming but you can. That's the question, Nick. Is he that cold and unsympathetic? Because he comes off as being very sympathetic, very likable. You kind of root for him at some points, and you're kind of like, I really hope he didn't do this. I don't think he did it.
Mm-hmm.
But you don't know, and it just keeps you guessing. And hoo-wee, I think he might have done it. Plus, the trial happened, so we can find out if he actually did it.
That's true. But don't.
I won't spoil anything. So that's my number 3, The Jinx on HBO. Check it out.
So I think that's something I would actually be really interested in now listening to you guys talk about it. Because I like in fiction people who are very dark and fucked up and just kind of ruthless people who really have no remorse and moral code to do anything that would be considered good. The fact that those people exist in real life is scary, but also very interesting. And I'm gonna pose a quick question: better or worse than Making a Murderer?
That I have not watched.
Better.
Better. Okay.
Better.
I'm only gonna say that because I'm just tired of everyone talking about that show.
That's why I haven't watched it.
Okay. I don't know. I think it's over, Che.
Yeah. I asked that because I sort of kind of put them in the same mind space, in the same category a little bit.
They're in the exact same place, except Making a Murderer is literally the government at its worst. It's literally white people that don't have any trust in law enforcement or their government whatsoever. Just so many miscues, so many just procedural, F-ups where it's just it's kind of sad. It's depressing.
That's the heart of why I watched half of the pilot and it stopped, because I knew what it was going to be. I knew roughly what goes on in the Netflix series, and I didn't watch it, and people were talking about it. They're like, "How have you seen it yet? You're always into this stuff." And I said, I think it's kind of depressing to be reminded how flawed our justice system is. I know it sucks. I don't need people to keep telling me and watch a whole 10 hours worth of look at the ineptitude of these, court officials and police officers and what have you. I don't know what goes on, but so I have really no interest, and also fueled by the fact that everybody needed to post about it every other day on Facebook made me really resent it, and I decided not to watch it.
Same.
Yeah.
I had the same feeling about Serial, the podcast. I hate people who are like, "Oh, I love podcasts." I'm like, "Oh, which ones do you listen to?" Serial. Okay, that's it.
It makes me feel better. The only podcast I actually gave time to was the Joe Rogan one, but even then, I can barely keep along with it.
Joe Rogan is the best.
But yeah, to your point about your fictional, you enjoy the type of character in fiction. I would kind of compare Robert Durst to. Would you compare him to Walter White, Nick, from Breaking Bad? Just in terms of his his switch flipping ability between
Yeah.
likable facade and actual inner psycho.
Uh, have you ever seen 24, the TV show?
Yes.
Or
Sure.
actually, yeah. So in season 7, you have Tony Almeida just being able to go from a cold-blooded killer to a genuine family man in a matter of like 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And I think so. That's why I mean I don't know if it's Walter White-esque because Walter White's having he struggles to handle the demons he deals with.
That's true.
And
Does he not?
and if anything, I don't think Walter White is one that. It's not that he can't flip the switch. It's just like Robert Durst. You don't know if this guy killed these people. You know what I mean?
That's
I
true.
don't know. I can't read. He has no tells.
I never knowingly lied. I never knowingly lied.
And speaking of lying, brings me to my second favorite TV show of the year.
All right, well, we're back to you anyway, so let's do it.
Do it
I'll
up.
give you a hint. It starred Charlie Cox.
Ah. Mm-hmm.
I'm telling you, Daredevil.
I know where you're going with this.
Daredevil?
So why don't you unveil?
Yeah.
Make the pitch.
Dude, I remember seeing the movie, was that Affleck?
Yeah.
A while ago. And the concept around Daredevil is absolutely sweet. Okay? And, probably one of Marvel's most underappreciated characters. He's also a lawyer. I'm a huge fan of lawyers. I can't get that, body people. But, I'm glad Matt Murdock got his own television show because I really think that you can do a lot with him.
Mm-hmm.
And there's also the fact that, he doesn't have these superpowers, that are fictitious. It's like his senses are heightened. You know what I mean? Let's not like go out of the realm of possibility where like he's been genetically enhanced or his dad's is like a demigod, But that being said, I thought Charlie Cox did a phenomenal job being a Daredevil.
Mm-hmm.
I've never seen anything from Charlie Cox before, except he might have been in a war. I wanted to say he was in.
He was in
Saving
Boardwalk.
Private-
Yeah, that's
He
what I
was in
think.
Boardwalk. He was one of Nookie's, Margaret Schroeder's boy toys, right?
Yes, exactly.
Right. That's what I recognized him with. Damn. He was good in that too. I don't know. I thought it was. I feel like I didn't get enough respect online. I don't know many people that talked about it, and I don't know why that's the case, especially because Marvel's huge right now.
Well, I think it had maybe an issue because it was released in April, right, Jake? Wasn't that
Yeah, it
when
was April.
Is that what it was?
Yeah.
April, yeah. So, and that's one show's time and one show only, and that's Game of Thrones.
That's
So,
true.
I think Thrones dominates the conversation, and everything else becomes second. So, had Daredevil come out in June, maybe we would have heard more about it and written more about it. But I think it got a lot of high praise. I don't think it's
anyone who watched it, you will hear them praise it like crazy.
I thought this last season of Thrones sucked. Just in case anyone wanted my opinion.
ooh. Hot take.
I might be done with Thrones, but
Ooh, another hot take. Wow.
it's all right. We'll talk about that later.
All right, Pat, what's your 2?
My second is Narcos.
Okay.
I don't know if that's your one, anybody, but
No,
Narcos is my second because
it was fucking great.
it was great, and I only just saw it. It's fresh in my mind. I crushed it like last weekend, and catching up on old TV shows that came out over the fall that I did get to watch. And I thought it was great. I really, really liked Pablo Pascal, who plays Javier, the DEA's partner,
Mm-hmm.
and he's also the Viper in Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
And I think that dude is electric, and I hope he works a ton, and I think he's just an exceptional talent, so I really liked him. I really liked the guy who played Pablo Escobar for the most part,
Black
even though
Aurora.
yes, even though apparently he is Brazilian, and I
And
have
his accent
friends.
sucked. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, I have
it did.
friends who are from Colombia and from Peru, and they say it's almost they can't even watch it because of how bad his accent is, which is lost on any American, I'm sure. But
Right. And we're the
um,
only ones who really care, so it's you.
right, and I also just I really liked the story. I liked the way they set it up. I liked that it's kind of in like this weird narrated documentary type of
That was my
style.
favorite part.
Yeah. Um, and you can kind of see it evolve, and you see him start as just a common smuggler all the way up, and then he's Scarface. He's Scarface by the end of it. He is convinced that everything he's doing is like the right thing, and he's convinced that everybody owes him across the whole nation of Colombia like a debt of gratitude, and he genuinely believes it. And and then also the landscapes. I thought there were a lot of excellent shots throughout wherever they shot it. I mean, I don't know if it was Colombia, but wherever they shot it, probably bits and pieces was in Colombia. I apologize for not looking that up, but I thought it was really compelling to watch and pretty to see. The jungle side and favela type of areas in Bogota or Medellin. So I thought it was really good, and I'm looking forward to when they come out with it again. I'm pretty sure that they're coming out with season 2, but I'm
I
gonna
think
look
they should
that up.
just make season 2. There's a book that I read called Killing Pablo, and that's
Mhm.
just what season 2 should be. Because that book was awesome.
I'm still yet to
Really?
watch Narcos.
Wow.
Still
Jake,
haven't
I would do that before you do. Hold on, get my
Rude.
phone. I thought it was on silent.
Is it bad that every time someone talks about Narcos, I always revert to Billy Walsh, Pablo fucking Escobar?
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, it's funny that narratives from Entourage have been new projects in Hollywood over the past couple of years between between Narcos and Pablo Escobar and Aquaman with Warner Brothers. So
Yeah, Aquaman's
I'm
going to be awesome.
I'm just waiting for the real life smoke jumpers and Head On to come out, and then we'll be in business.
Did you hear Aquaman has his queen?
I did.
Who?
It's
Amber Heard,
Amber Heard, yeah.
Johnny Depp's girl.
Anywho, not to get off track, but I'm
Narcos,
excited for
though.
DC Universe.
Yeah,
Okay,
I'm down
Narcos.
for
I
Amber
just
Heard.
watched. I just wrote down watch Narcos because now I will.
All right.
Mhm.
I think you should do Narcos before you do Angie
Angie?
Tribeca.
Okay.
That's actually a no-brainer. That being said, if you have 22 minutes, you throw in one episode.
Just a quick bee sting of a show. Okay.
Exactly. You can literally rifle through them.
All right. I'm gonna go with my number 2 here,
Do
which
it up.
is a guilty pleasure of mine to an extent.
It better not be anime.
It is not anime. I've been watching Dragon Ball Super for the last couple of weeks in Japanese with subtitles. It is, guys, Dragon Ball Z is back. Let me just tell you, Dragon Ball Z is back in
We'll
full
take your word
force.
for it.
Okay. My number 2 show is Empire,
Ah, I love that. Okay.
which at first I thought was kind of just Black Glee, but turned out to be so much more. Oh my God, Empire's so good. Cookie Lions. From the pilot on, it's so much happens. The pace of that show, like every episode to me is like an entire season or a season and a half of Entourage. It's just like so much goes down. You talk about the business side of things, Pat. I know you love that. I know you love talking numbers. The character development is crazy. The family, it's made up of 3 brothers, Andre, Hakeem, and Jamal, all of whom are very rich characters. Cookie Lyons and Terrence Howard basically play the same roles as, Taraji P. Henson, I think her name is.
Yeah.
play basically the same roles as they played in Hustle and Flow, just 15 years later, and like have made it, and it's so good. It's so good. Can't get enough of it.
Taraji P. Henson just won the Golden Globe
For Cookie, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, she deserves it. She deserves every Golden Globe. She's a beast. Beast. So that's my number 2.
I haven't seen Empire yet, and
I'm not gonna watch it. I refuse.
I think Nick feels more strongly. What's your gripe with with Empire? Like,
I mean, Pat, here's just like a rule in the marketing world. Sometimes things just aren't gonna get people. You know what I mean?
mm.
It's just there's nothing appealing to me about that show.
Well, Nick has already made his claim that you should only have one black character on a show. So this is a show chock full of ethnicity. So Nick probably not his street. Crickets. Crickets.
I just there's nothing about that show that appeals to me. I don't know what to tell you. I mean, yeah, it's got nothing. It's got nothing going for it.
Strongly disagree. Strong disagree.
Strong take. It's
I'm
gonna
gonna
go
tell
on
you. I'm gonna tell you a show that Jake can watch that'll brighten his day. That's got a bunch of ethnicities in it, and that would be my number 1 show of the year.
Wait. Let's
Whoa,
pack
hold
his
on.
number 2. Whoa.
No, I did my no. We're actually. I'm sorry. No, I'm jumping the gun. Nick's right. It's back to him for number 1.
Oh, okay. Sorry, that was a good transition, Nick.
All right.
The guest knows how to do things better than the host. Jesus.
We're a little out of practice.
Well, okay. And the only reason, okay, there's an outlier. Season 2 of Silicon Valley. Thank you. And let me just explain to you why it was huge for them. It's not my number 1 show. Let me just explain to you why it was huge for them.
Honorable mention.
Right. That show had an unbelievable first season and got a lot of notoriety towards the end, mainly because it came right after Thrones, right?
Yeah, I think so.
When it debuted, it came right after Thrones, and they could have either gone one of 2 ways. It could have bombed or it could have taken off, and it took off. Like, they didn't regress at all. I thought Silicon Valley season 2 was just as good as season 1, and I was just really happy to see that.
Yeah.
I'm excited for season 3. That being said, my number 1 show, and the reason why I'm putting it number 1 is because I think it balanced my love for humor and comedy with a storyline and some charm and something a little refreshing when it comes to television shows, and that would be Master of None with Aziz Ansari.
Okay, that's the fanfare for that one. Okay.
I don't know. Did any of you guys watch it?
Did not watch it.
Haven't seen it yet.
It's got the Aziz Ansari. I mean, obviously, you know who Aziz is. It's got his humor, but there's this like
screaming.
What?
Like screaming?
No. Not necessarily like that. It's more of like it's got this like really refreshing offbeat take on like just what Aziz Ansari's life could be like if he was just a normal guy but still had, his comedic background in a day-to-day basis. So like he's not a celebrity, but he's just still funny as hell. And he goes through all the problems where like his parents are Indian, they don't get American culture. His girlfriend and him are having problems that, every person can relate to, but he just takes them to a hilarious level. The show actually gets kind of dark because they have their rough patch, and for some weird reason, even though it's a comedy, you still appreciate the dynamic and the relationships between Aziz and his girl, Aziz and his friends. I really like the show.
Okay.
Yeah.
I haven't seen it yet, so
it's also another show you could burn through.
Good. Okay. I haven't seen it yet, so I'm gonna check it out. I've been waiting for somebody to say something about it. That's just not like the internet articles I read. So go on.
Is the internet anti-Master of None?
No, it's not anti. I just usually wait and need to hear somebody who I know who's actually taking a chance on it and seeing it through.
I'd give it a go. I'd give it a go.
Give it a go. Okay.
Unlike Empire, I wouldn't give Empire a go.
Racism.
Racism in America. All right, so I have a similar number one. My number one, which is also the half-hour short-form comedy that is last season of New Girl. So, before we do this, I'm going to go ahead and make a bold claim that I think that Max Greenfield's character of Schmidt in that show is an upper echelon level, and I think at the end could be at this place where only people like, for me, Michael Scott, Chandler Bing, Jerry Seinfeld exist in that type of a stratosphere.
That's a bold statement, and
High praise.
I'm going to agree with you because his character is unbelievable.
Schmidt is the most unbelievable character I've seen in a long time. Every time I watch that show, and I stayed away from it for the longest time, and I only started watching it because my dear girlfriend told me to watch because it was one of her favorite things, and she was so very right. And she watches it really specifically for Schmidt because he's that good, and I didn't watch it for the longest time because I despise Zooey Deschanel and think she is horrible, and but as the show moves along from the first season up until the fifth now, she's actually she became more self-aware. I'm not sure what they did over there, but I love the three to four guys if you count Damon Wayans Jr. character, coach, in there as well. But the three main guys, and Schmidt.
Jake Johnson's awesome, and you know, Jake's gonna get so mad at me.
Why is he gonna get mad at you?
Okay, so here's just another example of Jake thinking I'm a racist. But Winston could make that TV show just with Schmidt. But when you add the dynamic of Coach, nope.
You're done giving the take?
No, it's just like, okay, here's the thing. Winston in that TV show is awesome. Ramon Morris does a phenomenal job. But then it's not me, it's Fox itself. When they brought in Coach, they made less of Winston.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not me being a racist. That's Fox not giving two black people adequate airtime.
Right. Yeah.
And that bothered me because I still think Winston's a better character.
I do too, and I've grown to think that he's one of the funniest people on the show, like silently really, really funny, and he just has these like weird one-liners that I always laugh at, no matter what. And so he's great. Him mixed with Max Greenfield as Schmidt and Jake Johnson as Nick, I think is the three strongest trio of comedy characters on TV right now. Jake being like, the lazy everyman of today. Winston just being this like weird, out of the box, don't know what to do with, never can really find himself, doesn't really know who he is type of a character. And Schmidt being like, I don't know how they designed his character, but it feels like to me he's a Jewish, supposed to come off gay, but he's actually a ferocious heterosexual. Mm-hmm. It's the funniest thing that I've seen in the longest time. And belly laughs when I watch that show every single time. So New Girl was my favorite thing of 2015.
Okay. That's another one that...
Not to mention Hannah Simone's hot.
Right. And CC's flames.
I'm surprised to hear you say that about Zooey Deschanel, though, because I have nothing but respect for the whole Deschanel family. Between Bones and... I loved her in Yes Man. I guess that's the only thing I really... So moving along, my number one, which is not going to be a surprise to anyone who saw me on Halloween. This show is head and shoulders far and above, in a different league than the rest of the shows on television, and that is, of course, Rick and Morty. Dan Harmon, I mean, I'm the biggest, well, not maybe the biggest, because I know there's some obsessive people out there, but I'm the biggest Community fan that I know, and Community was a great show, and Dan Harmon has a way of, he can make you piss your pants laughing, and then in the next moment bring it to such a real place that you're like, holy shit, and like you feel something so strongly, but then he just flips the switch right back to comedy, and it makes the show so powerful. Like the moral issues that go on in that show between the failing marriage of the parents and a teenage kid who needs to find his own, and the sister who's kind of a bitch, but she's also just trying to fit in. It's all of that mixed in with this crazy sci-fi, really fantastical adventures and the whole universe. It comes together to make something so amazing. I can't even put it into words. This doesn't give it justice. But Rick and Morty, season 2, blew season 1 out of the water, I thought, and the character arcs were just amazing. A lot of its strength comes from the secondary characters that you meet in the episodes. Some notables were Fart, Crumbopulous Michael, all of those guys, Bird Person, R.I.P. Bird Person, Mr. Poopy Butthole. Oh my God, Mr. Poopy Butthole is the man. I mean, you guys need to get on the Rick and Morty train if you haven't already. Let me put it that way. Justin Roiland does great voices. He voices both Rick and Morty. The woman from, I forgot her name. I can never remember her name, but from Scrubs, the blonde girl from Scrubs does the mom. She's great. You got SNL veteran Chris Parnell as the father. It's just amazing. It's just amazing.
Sarah Chalk.
Yes, Chalk. That's her name. Anyway, Rick and Morty. Check it out.
I'm going to give it a
Rick
go.
and Morty.
I've heard good things.
So good.
Where does it air?
It airs on Comedy Central. It airs Sunday nights at 10. There's 10 episodes per season, and they're 23 minutes long. They're just little bee stings, and they just fucking hit you real hard, real fast. It does. It also, I mean, there's not enough I can say about it.
I thought it was on like Adult Swim. I don't know why I thought it was on Adult Swim.
Wait, what did I say?
You said Comedy Central.
I meant Adult Swim.
Oh, okay. Okay, Adult Swim, yeah. For sure, okay. Yeah, I can't add much to that one because I haven't seen the show, and I think it is like the underground of the underground, so almost nobody talks about it on the channels that I frequent, unfortunately.
Anyone who's a Flight of the Conchords fan, there's a great episode with one of the guys from that who plays a character named Fart, who is a kind of a telepathic, gaseous cloud full of what look like Fruit Loops. He's got some great musical numbers. But like I said, the feels in that show, and I don't often use the term feels, but all the feels.
All of the feels, huh?
All of the feels. It's so great. Definitely give it a go. You will not be disappointed.
I know Nick's like looking something up, but his face looks like this.
I'm trying to find this information.
All right, so we can move to movies now.
Surely.
If everybody feels satisfied. And Nick, if you want to keep the pattern going and kick us off with your third favorite.
Oh, we're doing it that way.
Do you want to do it that way, or do you want to go top down?
No, we can do it that way.
Okay. So, coming in at number 3 for you, Nick, what would you say?
I'm coming in hot, and by hot I mean it's because I'm on Mars, and that's because of The Martian.
Okay.
And normally I'm not a Damon guy, but
Mm.
this movie, which had the potential to be awful because it's literally premised on a guy who's, it's Castaway on Mars. But it was everything but that. It was smart. I was on the edge of my seat for some of the movie. It was surprisingly funny. I think it was a book,
It was
and
an
that's what
ebook.
okay. See, that's what I was trying to figure out, and who wrote the book, and whether or not the movie adaptation was even like on point, but or at least correlated well with the book. But it didn't matter because I absolutely loved that movie. Uh, I thought it was. I mean, I don't know. Did it get good in the Oscar? I know it did well at the Globes.
It won a Comedy Globe, didn't it? That's what I was confused about.
Yeah. Well, so here's the thing with the Golden Globes. They're a joke. And essentially, the Golden Globes is voted on by about 80 people that make up the Hollywood Foreign Press, as opposed to 6,000 in the Academy that do the Oscars. So it's mostly about like sucking up to the Hollywood Foreign Press to win these awards. Everybody knows they're kind of a joke. That's why if you watched it this year, it looked like everybody was drunk.
Yeah.
And Denzel Washington didn't even like remember to bring his eyeglasses so he can say his speech for his like generation award because he looked like he could care less.
Jim
Um,
Carrey. Jim Carrey won me over. I was never a big Jim Carrey fan, but his little bit during the Golden Globes about how insignificant they are was amazing.
hmm.
It was fantastic.
and essentially they put in The Martian as a comedy so that The Martian could be represented and so that like Matt Damon and those people who starred in it would come.
Okay.
So that's kind of like what went on behind the scenes with
I
why.
mean,
But I mean, The Martian is fucking spectacular. So
Kristen Wiig crushed it. Jeff Daniels crushed it. Michael Pena crushed it. Sean Bean crushed it. Kate Mara was in it. She crushed it. Like it was
Donald
actually,
Glover,
yeah. It was.
yeah,
It was.
the Winter Soldier was in there. Jake.
Sebastian Stan.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, who else was in it?
Jessica Chastain, Monster.
Yeah.
Always crushes it.
I don't know. It just you could have sat there and you could have been like, "Wow, this is a really boring movie," and it wasn't. It was everything but. And I remember watching it with my family, and I think we watched it Christmas Day, and like we were all up at like 10:30, just jacked up, seeing if he would get out. And obviously, my dad's in the background pointing out the, you know, aerophysics and the scientific bull crap, like that can't happen. And the best part about it was that all you needed was a chance. That jump at the end of the movie that he makes,
Yeah.
yeah, it was great. Jake, what are you staring at?
Nothing.
Jake, have you seen it yet, Jake? Have you seen The Martian?
No,
Okay, because I've seen it.
but I
So
really
go ahead
want to. I kept getting talked out of it. I kept pitching it for like, let's go to the movies, let's see The Martian. No, I saw a bunch of other movies instead. But I'm going to probably buy it on Vudu tonight and watch it.
It's to me, it's the new space movie to set everything else by it. Just like Apollo 13, this is the new Apollo 13.
That's what I heard on the Fat Man on Batman podcast. Kevin Smith and Mark Bernardin said that it's the movie that's going to reinvigorate America's like thirst for space travel. It's going to like reinvigorate the need for like NASA and everything, and like get people back into like wondering about. So it's what it's going to do for like the space program. What Interstellar should have done. So yeah. So I'm in. I just haven't seen it yet.
I'll give you my quick take, and I'll ask you, Nick, if you think this is right. I was very happy with how like funny and positive the movie was the entire time, and also, Jake, if anything should put you over the edge, it should be that Drew Goddard wrote it.
Bingo.
So, yeah. So, essentially, I thought the movie was like really positive. Like this guy, he's in the worst situation in the world. Like literally couldn't be stranded on a worse place than Mars. And he's just kind of, his attitude the whole time is really positive and just like, well, I guess I'm gonna just have to science the shit out of this and then figure out how to, survive. And he does. And it's cool. And I think that's attributed to Damon. Because, Nick, I'm going to ask you this. Is that movie as good if you trade out Matt Damon for Leonardo DiCaprio? Is it the same movie, or is it as good?
No, it's a completely different movie. Because I think they're completely different actors. And do I think the movie's as good? If you had to ask me who do I think the better actor is, I think it's without question Leo. I think Leo's probably one of the best actors of our generation, behind Daniel Day. But I don't think Leo would have done well in that role. I don't know why I'm saying that. I just had this weird thing. Maybe it's because I've already seen Matt Damon do it. But I think the only other person I think, if I'm going to go top A-list celebrity actor, who probably could have crushed that,
Nick Cage.
Top A-list actor, I'd probably say Bale. But I don't think he'd do that anyways. I don't think that's his forte. Maybe because I feel like this is this is Matt Damon's forte of a type of movie.
Right. And he makes it fun.
Yeah, I was going to say, Matt Damon always makes shit fun.
Yeah. I don't think so, though. I don't think I think they casted it real well. I think that's what also made the movie so good. I think it was just casted really well.
Yeah, I would agree. So Martian is a great pick. I like that pick a lot.
Right.
And I'll go to my third and say I'm going to avoid this movie, the Overlap movie, and I'll go with this first. I'll go with The Big Short.
I haven't seen it yet. It's on my list.
It's a good one.
Me neither.
Both. It's really, really good. It's people, Steve Carell, to Brad Pitt, to Ryan Gosling, and it's directed by Adam McKay, which he's been a long time comedy director partner of Will Ferrell with Talladega and Step Brothers. But this is a good, very smart movie, one of the smartest movies I've seen all year, definitely, if not in a while. And it's about the housing crisis and the financial collapse of 2008. And these guys who could see it coming like a couple years beforehand. And what they did was they would bet against the housing market, which at the time was ridiculously stupid because everybody thought the housing market is so solid it never collapses or nothing ever goes wrong. So these guys got a little whiff that something was going to potentially crumble in a few years, and they essentially shorted the housing market, and they made a lot of money, and they also tried to warn everybody and prevent it. And I think that it's the best acting I've seen from Steve Carell in ever. And it was very, very funny from Ryan Gosling, just really funny belly laughs from him. And it took a very complicated storyline and subject matter and made it very easily digestible for a mass audience, a common audience of people across America who could watch that, listen to their explanations, and there was a lot of breaking the fourth wall and speaking to the audience at points to kind of clarify things. They even had like celebrity guest cameos to explain, different financial functions that go on in banking across the world. Also, you leave that movie being pretty pissed off, too, at the same time that, Wall Street allowed this to happen. So that's a great one, and that's probably my number 3 spot, all things considered.
Okay. Again, haven't seen it. Can't say anything to it, but I will see it. Now, for me, we spoke about this off pod. We're gonna keep Star Wars off this list because that holds a very special place in my heart. Loved it. I saw it 5 times in the theater. But
5? I thought it was just 4.
Oh, 5. I saw it after I saw it with you guys. A lot of me wants to say Ant-Man, but
You can't.
I'm going to go with Bridge of Spies for number 3.
Woo! All right, I love that pick. Okay.
Have you seen it?
Not yet.
No. Okay, Bridge of Spies. Excellent, excellent movie. I love Tom Hanks. I mean, I think Tom Hanks is the best actor of our generation. No knocks to Leo or Daniel Day, but I think Tom Hanks is the best actor of our generation. Him or Russell Crowe, but him. And I'm going to say that Bridge of Spies is an amazing I don't want to say comeback because it's not like he went anywhere, but he kills it. Him and Spielberg kill it. The subject matter of it. I love the time period piece. Always love the time period piece.
I can't believe that you just said that.
Said what?
That Tom Hanks is the best actor of our generation.
Oh, look at his body of work, dude. How can you not say Tom Hanks is the best actor of the generation?
What do you mean, dude? Are you telling me that Daniel Day-Lewis doesn't have a better body of work?
No, he doesn't. He's a better method actor. I'm talking Castaway. I'm talking Forrest Gump. I'm talking Big. I'm talking Bridge of Spies. I'm talking
Toy Story.
Toy Story. Toy Story 2. Toy Story 3.
It's not him acting.
Voice acting is acting, Nick.
Okay. Lincoln, There Will Be Blood. Gangs of New York. The Boxer. The Crucible.
Are you on his IMDb page? Is that what you're doing here? Yeah.
I'm literally going through his IMDb.
Off the top of my head, Tom Hanks movie.
I'll do Tom Hanks for you.
You don't have to do Tom Hanks for me. I've seen them.
Yeah, man.
Regardless, he's put in a shitty situation in that movie. He plays a lawyer, has to defend. He gets assigned to defend someone who is a known Russian spy, and he's a man of morals. So he says, "My job is to give this guy a real defense. That's what our Constitution says he deserves, and that's what he's going to get from me." And he just gets shit on because of it, and he ruins it. It threatens his life, his family's life, everything. And the progression from that trial to the rest of the story, he's just the man. He's the fucking man. The soundtrack, the score of that movie was beautiful. Beautiful. And I think it comes together to make a gorgeous movie. And I hope it wins Best Picture.
Strong vote. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I like that. I'm going to go back and watch it definitely before the Oscars come out. So
Definitely should.
Definitely not illegally. I'll watch it in the theater. I don't know.
Of course.
Theater. It's on DVD.
I don't think
Anyway,
whatever.
let's edit that out. So that was your number 3. So Nick, you're gonna get it kicked to you for the silver medal.
All right, my silver medal is Ant-Man. That's why I didn't want Jake to take it. And
Okay.
if I could, I'd watch that movie every day because I think aside from the first Iron Man, I think it did better than Captain America. I think it crushed all the Thors. I think, first of all, I think the Thor character himself is unbelievable. I think the Thor movies are pretty poorly done. But anyways, that's beside the point. Ant-Man was fantastic. I have no idea why I loved it so much, but
It's a fun movie.
yeah, like it was funny, and then it Paul Rudd out of nowhere, thinking here's the thing: who did Green Lantern that sucked? Ryan Reynolds. Right. So I know that Paul Rudd's a much better actor than Ryan Reynolds, but I was thinking that if you put someone who does comedy in a role who needs to be somewhat serious, it's gonna blow. But Ant-Man didn't need to be too serious. Do you know what I mean?
Right. It would have sucked if it was too serious, I think.
Right. Yeah, there's almost that personable aspect that you wanted Ant-Man to have. And who's the Spanish guy? Carlos Pena? No.
Michael Pena.
Michael Pena. He's a baseball guy. I'm sorry, but our buddy Corey hated Michael Pena, but I thought he was. I
Stole the show.
He was great.
He's
and
far and away one of the best parts. Yeah.
Corey Stoll plays a legit fantastic antagonist. which I'm expecting from him. But that whole bald look, suited up. Like I don't know. I just thought that movie meshed so well for me, and everything just clicked. And even Michael Douglas,
Yeah.
at 99,000 years old, is still pushing out good quality flicks.
It was great, yeah.
But yeah, it also made me excited because of the ending in that trailer where we saw Captain America and the Winter Soldier down where were they?
They were in like a garage, like they had caught with the Winter Soldier.
Right. The Falcon was there too, though, right?
Yeah, it was
Falcon
him
was
and the Falcon, and then
Yeah.
they had the Winter Soldier in like a vice grip.
But I also appreciated that they brought in the Falcon for that small cameo where they were fighting over near the Avengers
Facility, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I thought they crushed it. They crushed it.
Absolutely, Nick. Baskin Robbins always wins out, bro.
Baskin. Dude, I'm telling you, those like one-liners, or the fact that the daughter's feeding an ant under the table at the end of the movie, just like something so.
How cute is that little girl? The scene where he's like, she's at breakfast and the stepdad's leaving, and she's like, "Are you going to find my daddy?" And he's like, "Yeah." And he's like, "I hope you don't find him." I melt inside, and I don't have many emotions, but like I was just like, "Oh my god!"
Yeah. Or just there was a scene where like she's in their bedroom and they're fighting, but they're ant size. Him and Stoll are fighting, and she's watching it partake, and like they're throwing, the train set at each other, but it looks like nothing's happening. And meanwhile, it's like this intense action scene.
Amazing.
Yeah. Okay, sorry. All right.
No, don't be sorry. I 100% agree with you.
I mean, Pat, what do you? Who's doing silver next? Jake, what's your silver?
No, Pat's doing silver next, right?
I'm doing silver next, but I just want a quick take on Ant-Man. I thought that it was hysterical. My favorite part about it was that it was very lighthearted and fun, also very self-aware with scenes like that, Nick, where it's a major ending action sequence, but they're really just throwing around a tiny train set. And I thought that was a great part of why it was funny. I also just thought it was hysterical that we were watching a movie about ants. And when like his main aunt, like Anthony, gets like shot while he's attacking, and he's like so heartfelt, like, "No, Anthony!" I think I like grabbed Jake in the theater and was laughing my ass off because I was like, "We're really watching a fucking movie about ants right now," and it's great. So I like the pick a lot. I think Ant-Man stood out definitely this year. My number two. I'm going with another Disney property, and I'm going with Inside Out.
Yes.
So,
yes.
Inside Out, I thought was one of the smartest movies of the year. I thought it was very, very well organized. I thought it was, once again, like a banner film for Pixar. Pixar doesn't do anything wrong, essentially. Everything they put out is the best, and I think that they're the best storytellers in the industry, probably. And the way that they do things over there at Pixar is so fascinating to me, and I think that Inside Out is the newest movie that really reflects that. I know that, we're in this weird spot where we're like 25-year-old adults. We're not kids anymore, and we're not old enough to have kids. But, which is kind of where the movie really, really resonates with people, is this, if you're a young kid or if you're a parent. And
isn't that what they do best, though? Isn't that, what they excel in is, even the 50-year-olds can sit down there and watch that movie and not be like, I can't believe I'm sitting through this.
Right. Like, what are the kids watching these days? Like, it's not like watching Camus or Kalu or whatever the fuck the babies watch nowadays. They do that so well. You're right, Nick.
I will say the reason why I left Inside Out of my probably top 3 or 5 was that I thought it dragged on a little bit, and I thought they could have. Yeah, I mean, just dragged on. I felt like the pace slowed down a lot, especially when they were trying to get back to. It only saw
like headquarters.
Right, back to headquarters, and like Where were
You
they?
go through like the Dream production and
Yeah, but post Dream production, but before they could get back on that train. I don't know. I just felt like that movie was like 2.5 hours when they could have done it in like an hour and a half.
I think it was like an hour and a half. I'm not sure, but
I'm gonna look that up.
yeah,
I
look
just
that up.
remember it feeling longer than it needed to be.
So you thought the pace was slow?
Right. I mean, I thought the concept was great. The movie itself was great. I just thought it was too long, and I just got a notification. My Mac is gonna die in 3 minutes. That's fantastic news. I didn't see that.
Plug that shit in, dude.
Uh,
Um,
Yeah, loved Inside Out. I don't want to talk about it too much because that was my number one.
oh shit!
no, it wasn't. Was it
Yes,
really?
it was. Yes, it was. I will talk about it because I've got one word for you, and that is hold, please. My one word for you is Bing Bong.
That's
I
great.
loved Bing Bong. When Bing
That
Bong,
elephant thing?
spoilers. Yeah, dude, it was so awesome. The whole fucking, it was the most well thought out movie I've seen in a long time. I thought it was on par with the Lego movie in terms of writing. Um, and like you said, Pat, I saw it in a theater with a friend of mine, and then families. It was just us two, and then like a full theater of like full like nuclear families, and there were kids laughing, there were parents laughing. I cried at one point. I cried when Bing Bong, spoilers, did his thing,
Sacrifice.
sacrificed himself. Yeah. Um, and just the whole like when she was running away, I was like, oh my god, what's going on? Disney has a way of making you forget that it's Disney, and when it gets dark, you think it's gonna stay dark. Like I always, when I'm watching a Disney movie, like Up or something, it's just like, oh my god, this is so dark. Like this can't be for kids. This can't be for kids, but it is for kids because it's all about just running things back and forth and making, growing up. Growing up. Oh my god, combining the emotions. It was genius. It was fucking genius. I love
It
it.
really was great. Wait, but
I
then
thought it was.
if that was Jake's one, then what was Jake's two?
My silver medal goes to Mad Max Fury Road.
Oh, you bastard, because that took my one.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, Mad Max Fury Road. We've talked about it on Pod before. Just a monument to what one man can accomplish when he puts his mind to it. The man being George Miller. 95% of those stunts were practical. I mean, they were actually in the desert of, where were they? Like Tunisia or something.
Tunisia, something like that, maybe.
Yeah, they were in some desert country and just fucking shit up between the hedgehog dune buggies and the guys on poles and the guitar player strung up on the big, microphone speaker stack, mobile speaker stack that played basically like a 3-day set during the course of that movie. He never stopped playing. Actually worked it into the soundtrack. Like the action of it was during that fight scene between him and Max. The only thing about it, the first scene didn't grab me that much when he was kind of, his little internal monologue. But I thought it was great. I thought it did a great job kind of handling the lack of Mel Gibson, because that's a situation where you've got a character that didn't define a generation, well, kind of defined a generation of Australian cinema.
Yeah, that'd be Wolf Creek.
Right. Well, until Wolf Creek, they only had the Road Warrior. But
What was his name? John Jarrett?
love the Wolf Creek shout out.
I don't know.
No, it's John Jarrett, right? Wasn't it John Jarrett?
I don't
Yeah.
remember. I don't remember Wolf Creek all that much. My bad.
Dude,
Mel
wow.
Gibson. There could have been backlash if this movie sucked. If Tom Hardy sucked, and Tom Hardy, who I love to death, I will watch him read the phone book. But there would have been a lot of backlash if he sucked and didn't, pay respect to Mel Gibson. But I think it did a great job, especially with Charlize Theron. kind of taking the weight off of him and making the story more about her.
Mm-hmm.
It was just genius. It was perfect. It was everything you want in an action movie, and it kind of ruined Jurassic World for me, and Age of Ultron, which kind of were both letdowns for me.
Remember when we watched it, the three of us together? We were talking about it afterwards, and I remember being in the car with you guys, and we were talking about it. We were like, yeah, it was good, like it was really good, and then like all of a sudden, as we were driving home, our opinions about it just kind of deflated and deflated.
Age of Ultron?
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. That is like it's the dollhouse of Joss Whedon's movies. Like it's the only the second thing he's ever done that I don't love.
Yeah. Well, he for sure
like.
didn't want to be there.
Can I tell you a fun fact?
Right. I can't wait for this.
Mad Max, the original, came out in 1980.
Correct.
Guess the budget.
I'm gonna guess and say like $72. Dude, have you ever seen the first Mad Max? It's like
650,000.
Okay.
Yeah, well.
That's higher than I thought it would have been, but okay.
The budget for last year's Mad Max was 150 mil.
I was gonna say at least 100 mil.
Damn, that's a lot of money.
That's crazy.
That's
and he's making another one.
Yeah, I'm not gonna watch the next one. I hope they don't do that.
Yeah,
I don't want them to.
I don't want him to.
I'm gonna tell you my biggest pet peeve with current modern day Hollywood is that when they hit a movie, they feel the need to milk it and make two out of it, and I think that just hurts the original.
Dude, he's apparently got scripts for like 5 more.
Oh well, I can give you. Dude, that's
just
like
old as fuck. He's just old as fuck, so he's probably gonna die before he can make them all. He's what, 75?
Yeah, something like that.
I'd rather him do the Man of Steel sequel, but
I would not, because I am so pissed at Superman and Batman right now.
I'm so ready for Superman and Batman, boys.
Stop. On a side note, like, I'm going to tell you right now, that movie's going to be the worst movie of 2020.
It's going to be the best movie, guys. It's going to be the second best. It's going to be the third best movie behind the Suicide Squad and Deadpool.
Deadpool, Suicide Squad will be 1, 2. I don't know what order.
Oh, Civil War.
You're right. Damn it. Deadpool.
Does Doctor Strange come out this year or next year?
No. Next year.
I think it's November.
I thought it was May. Oh, I'm going to check right now.
Doctor Strange is going to be fucking awesome. Nick's going to hate Doctor Strange because it's going to be I think it's going to be a lot like Thor in the mystical kind of realm.
How do they do that? November 5th.
It's a story about magic, Nick.
But no, I like Doctor Strange's character too. I just don't want them to ruin it for me.
He's in my top 5 favorite Marvel Comics characters, easily.
Oh, really? Fun fact: Superman would never lose to Batman, but apparently they're gonna fight, and it's gonna be kind of cool.
Have you watched The Dark Knight Returns yet?
I have a question. Have you ever read a comic book?
You're asking him that?
Well, I don't know if he's ever read Superman or Batman, because he would know better that Superman would literally take a dump on Batman's chest and then take a picture of it and upload it to Instagram and be like, "Yo, just shit on this bitch."
Too bad Batman beats him. I'm sorry. That's all I'm going to say.
Okay, yeah. The guy can fly, literally lift 1 trillion pounds, laser beam, smoking hot wife, or not really wife, just sidekick.
Jesus Christ.
Batman literally has a butler and cash. That's pretty much all Batman.
We're getting way off course here. We can argue about Batman versus Superman if you want to, Nick.
Well, that's a different pod.
That's a different pod. And my computer's about to die, so
I'm gonna give you my. Ooh. I just thought of another player, but still no. I'm gonna say, and I'm gonna hedge my bet here by saying, with the caveat that I haven't seen Spotlight yet.
Me neither.
That, to me, probably the best movie that's not Mad Max, because I think Mad Max might be the best, but for our purposes, I switch things around. My last movie is The Revenant.
Ooh, I loved The Revenant.
can't count it. I haven't seen it, and I'm waiting for it to come out. I'm not going to see it in theaters.
Well, if you have the desire to see it in theaters and you can, I would recommend it just to see it on a bigger screen.
Yeah.
Well, I heard that, but Peter Toyias wants to see it, and the movies that Peter Toyias specifically sets aside, I usually wait to watch with him.
Oh, okay. Oh, instead of going to the theater and watching
Right,
it?
so like Ted 2, he really wanted me to watch it with him, so I waited.
He won't go to the theater?
No, he'll never. I don't think my father will ever step foot in a theater again. It's not that he doesn't like going to the movie theaters. He just refuses to pay X amount of money to do that when he can, quote unquote, sit at home, watch on the couch, and have my own popcorn and piss when I need to.
That's fair. That's fair. You gotta love Pete. He knows what's up.
Yeah,
I love it.
Yeah, he's legit.
I love your father, but that's literally the attitude I'm trying to like build my career around making not a thing anymore.
Well,
get people to come to the movies.
Crusade.
honestly,
Is my favorite person.
you're gonna have to find a way to. He's the hardest one to move. His group of people is the hardest one to move because at least our generation, we kind of don't want to wait for a movie to come out, but he's not exactly so so excited where it's a pressing issue. Like when Star Wars came out, like obviously you're gonna get a bunch of people to go, but for your run-of-the-mill movie that movies come out every 4 or 6 months, what's your breakoff point? What are you going to do to get someone off their couch when they can just wait another 6 months and then they can watch it on TV?
6 months is a long time. That's the thing.
Wait, but Jake, it's not like how do you spoil a movie like Batman vs Superman other than saying, oh, Batman wins? All right, well,
tell them exactly. Well, okay, time out. Can I just one thing before we get off Batman Superman? The fucking movie is called Dawn of Justice. It's called Dawn of Justice. No one's gonna fucking die, guys. They're gonna make it through.
I'm not saying anyone dies, but in terms of the actual action in the movie, if Batman even makes Superman bleed or fall over, I'm just gonna say it's the most inaccurate movie adaptation of a comic I've ever seen.
Before Jake's head explodes, I'm gonna just give you this quick reasoning for The Revenant, but I thought that first of all, it was just an event to produce that movie, and
shot in all natural light.
All natural light.
All natural. By the way,
many things were done in one take, or Inarritu really tried to make it in one take, like Birdman. Had an extraordinary. They were calling it the Forevenant, the crew, because it was just a miserable production, and it never stopped because they had to play the elements and the weather never cooperated and everything. And these aren't reasons why it's the best movie, but one of the best. Leon had a terrific role in the fact that he didn't even have a lot of speaking parts, and he just acted the shit out of it because he was just physically acting the entire time. He didn't have to, just based off of little to no dialogue and
struggling. That's why he's better than Tom Hanks.
He's a very skilled actor. I'm not gonna rip open that wound again.
Okay, Jake. I'm just gonna say this, Jake. Tom Hanks' body of work is better, but he's not a better actor.
That is a bold-faced lie.
Pat, can you just answer this question?
Look at the Oscars. Are we going to do it by number of Oscars? Because I think Tom Hanks wins.
No, Pat, before I go, just answer this question. If you had to create a movie right now, but I haven't handed you the script, would you rather have Leo or Tom Hanks?
You can't do that, dude.
No,
you need
Jake,
a script.
shut up. Jake, shut up. Shut up, Jake. Pat, I'm not going to hand you the script, but you can either cast Leo or Tom Hanks.
Leonardo, he's the biggest movie star in the world right now.
Okay, suck a dick, Jake. Hey, Jake, do me a favor. Why don't you suck a dick? Okay.
Okay, Nick.
All right, I have 30 seconds. So anyone want to say anything before this thing dies?
Yeah, real quick. Leonardo is great. Tom Hardy's better.
Tom Hardy's amazing.
That's,
I hate
that's
both.
why you should see it. Shot by shot,
Hardy.
one of the most beautifully done cinematography jobs of the year. That guy who was the cinematographer. He's going to win his 3rd Oscar in a row for that movie this year. Definitely lock that in.
Did you notice? Did you notice the fight scene, the 3rd act fight scene between Leo and Tom Hardy was in one shot? Was a one-shotter?
I believe. Yeah, I think so. Yeah,
With all
you're
the
right.
stabbing in the axes and the fingers.
Yeah.
All right, gentlemen. I am going to die in 33. And yep, now I'm running on 0. I don't know why I'm still alive, but I'm on 0.
We love you, Nick. In case you die.
In case you die, Nick, we appreciate you coming on. That's the end of the show, anyway.
Yeah.
Unless anybody wants to spit flames on the Revenant, but I think
We
we're
should do
good.
this again sometime.
I do want to say bear
we can
fight.
preview 2016.
Jake, you smell like poop.
Bear fight, horse, tauntaun, hoss job, wounds, and Nick died.
And scalping.
And scalping. Oh my God, scalping, Pat.
Big one. Yeah, big theme.
Apparently, Tom Hardy's really pissed that he had to miss the Suicide Squad because of the awful experience of the Revenant.
I had not heard that.
I read an article. He was like really pissed. He was like, we kept getting held up, and the scheduling conflict made me not be able to do the Suicide Squad, and I'm pretty upset about it.
Okay, I had heard that he didn't do Suicide because of the extension of the production on The Revenant, but I didn't know his feelings on it or his opinion that he was pissed. So, I mean, it makes sense.
He should win Best Supporting Actor. I hope. I heard. I still haven't seen it, but I heard Sly did a great job in Creed.
Have not seen Creed.
Me neither, but that's another movie I really need to see because I kept suggesting the Creed and The Martian, and everyone kept shooting me down.
I almost went to see Creed with my girlfriend Meryl. Hi Meryl, if you're gonna watch later.
Hi.
We didn't go. We didn't want to go. Well, we wanted to go. It was just like really cold in Boston that night, so we just. I think we watched The Martian instead, actually.
Huh.
Which was win-win. Stay home and watch The Martian. So, yeah. But
so what was your
Creed
number
is on
one?
the list.
What was your number one movie?
Probably Mad Max.
Okay.
But I had written down here The Martian, Revenant, Inside Out, Big Short, Mad Max. Also really just somehow watched Hateful Eight. Really enjoyed that.
Did you really enjoy it?
Mm-hmm.
Did you though?
I did. No, I did. I swear to God. I'm not just saying it because I'm like a Tarantino head.
Did you though? That movie blew dicks. That movie blew up.
Wait, was it you told me that you left?
Yes, I left. I left after Sam Jackson got his ball shot off. That movie blew a platter of dicks. Like a cocktail platter of cocks.
Okay. Cocktail platter, got it. What was your gripe?
I'm officially sick of Tarantino. Fuck him, the pretentious asshole. He made such a big deal about 70 millimeter Panavision. Ooh ah. The whole fucking movie takes place in a stagecoach and a cabin. It might as well have been shot with a fucking iPhone camera. 70 millimeters for like broad, landscapes and beautiful scenery. Plus the pacing of it. It was like watching like Reservoir Dogs with the pacing of Inglourious Bastards, but without the allure of World War II and Nazi hunting. The only things that I liked about it were the door gag. The first time they did the door gag was funny. Shut the door. Like, you got to nail it shut. Oh, they didn't have to see it 5 times. And then the fact that Samuel L. Jackson was full of shit and his story about the guy's son was great. But other than that movie can blow me.
Your takes on Tarantino are fair. I think he's gotten to a place where people are either follow him blindly or they're getting annoyed with his kind of shtick. I think he knows that he's bought so much goodwill that he can grip an audience's attention, and he knows he's got them. like what you're saying with it being slow, the fact that when you're watching it and you see like Walton Goggins' character, let's say like off in the distance on the road in the snow, and you're sitting there fully aware that what you're about to see is like 5 minutes of Walton Goggins walking towards the camera.
Of the and you're about to see the same scene you saw with Sam Jackson. You know you're going to see the same exact sequence of events. All of them. Not even like an abridged version, because you know what's going to happen. When what really got me was when they set the line to the outhouse and you watched them set every spike and then tie the fucking rope to it. I was like, dude, we need to get moving here, bro. We need to get moving. We looked down. We were sitting there, and my friend Mike says to me, "Do you want to? If nothing happens the next half an hour, do you want to leave?" And I said, "Let's give it 45 minutes." He said, "Okay." Everyone shoots each other up. The whole shootout happens. We looked down, and I looked down at my watch. I was like, "There's still an hour left in this movie." And then the next scene came up, and it said 10 hours earlier. And I was like, "This is the last chronological scene in the movie. Fuck this. Let's go." He was like, "Yep, let's go." All four of it, and all four of us got up and left. I don't know. Maybe I was not in the right mood for it, but I shouldn't have to mentally prepare and meditate to be able to watch a movie. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's fair. You should be able to digest it easily, especially being a film fan. It's not like you're someone who has a problem going to the movie theater.
Right,
so,
100%.
Yeah, I think what he does lately is he has this thing where he wants to do like throwbacks, right? So he wants to do 70 millimeter. He wants to do, kickbacks to the way, he really enjoys blaxploitation movies or whatever, and westerns and the B movies of old. And I think one of the things he wanted to do with this movie, maybe in particular, is to make you pay attention to what he's doing. Like, he knows he's got a large fan base and a large amount of the mass public, and when you're sitting there having to watch each nail get like stuck into the ground, or you have to watch Sam Jackson or whoever walk up to the stagecoach through the snow and nothing's going on other than that, it's like a test of, can you pay attention? Are you actually locked in? And I think he wanted to make those scenes to lock people in, and it's a pretentious kind of a practice, because it's like him actively trying to manipulate the audience and the attention span of the audience with things like that, rather than just have a really great gripping story, which I thought it was a really good story. But he had these things built in where you're watching and you're not taking your eyes off it just because it's Tarantino. So I think your points are very fair, and your reasons for leaving are fair.
Because if you can't grab my attention, if you can't hold my attention after 2 hours of a 3-hour movie, shame on you.
Fair. It's a fair point.
And for some reason,
I don't know.
For some reason, the voiceover in between chapter 6 and chapter 7, he was like, "But what you didn't see and what nobody saw was that somebody poisoned the coffee." I was like, I literally flipped off the screen. I put my hand up to the air and flipped off the screen.
That's hilarious.
Maybe I'm not being fair, but whatever.
I enjoyed it because I like, it was like became like a murder mystery almost.
Yeah.
And I like the characters. I like that nobody was a good person, like at all. Like when you're thinking about Sam Jackson being a good person, or John Ruth the Hangman, Kurt Russell, right? Yeah. His character there. When you think like, okay, this is our hero, or this is our hero, John Ruth is just like a dick to everybody.
Yeah, 100%.
So he's not really, and it's not Daisy Domergue, Jennifer Jason Leigh, because she's like a horrible person and spews the worst comments of all 9 of them or whatever.
True.
And it's not Sam Jackson, because all of a sudden you find out he tells that story at the end, and you're like, wow, he's a despicable, horrible human being as well.
Yeah.
And then it's like weirdly towards the end, it's Walton Goggins, who's an out and out racist, and all these things. And I thought it was a cool movie because of a lot of things, but for this reason, I'm touching upon that it gives you characters that they're all bad, and they're not like, oh, this is an anti-hero, this is a whatever that Hollywood loves to do. No, he wrote characters that are really actually despicable and hateful, and you don't like any of them. And it was kind of cool and an interesting,
That's fair.
an interesting expedition into watching a story unfold like that. And I felt like when I was watching too that's how shit probably went down back in the day. Like people did not give a fuck. They had no, they would go through a haberdashery and just kill everybody just to get, something out of it or to escape.
I do have a couple of
death.
questions that you might be able to help me with.
Mhm.
And I don't know if you want to get into spoilers on this. For anyone still watching, all the 6 of you, turn away now if you don't want spoilers.
Earmuffs.
2 questions. I think I have 2 questions. First question: is Walton Goggins the sheriff of Red Rock or not? Or do you find out?
You find out, but it's not clear. Because he says towards the end, spoiler, but it's not really that much of a spoiler. He says towards the end, well, today is my first day and last day of being sheriff of Red Rock. And he makes a decision about something.
Okay.
So I know when you see that, I didn't read it as he was lying and he's just still kind of joking by saying, well, today I'm the sheriff, but I'm also not. Or if he's telling the truth and be like, yeah, I'm the sheriff, but I'm not going to do this job. So I couldn't really determine what he meant.
Okay.
So I know that's kind of a bullshit answer, but
that's fair though. I mean, I listened to an NPR interview with him that said basically he was saying he doesn't like to play with Walton Goggins, who said he doesn't like to play the ignorant Southern stereotype because it kind of perpetuates that stereotype. And he's actually a really smart dude and really well spoken.
right. He's one of the best actors working too.
Yeah, I love Walton Goggins. But I guess he said that when he read the script at Tarantino's house, Tarantino said to him, or he asked Tarantino, "Am I the sheriff of Red Rock?" And Tarantino said, "You need to figure out the answer to that question, and I don't want you to tell me what you decide."
That's cool.
So that makes me think that it never gets resolved in the movie. But whatever. Second question.
Yeah.
Unless you want to comment on that.
No. I was just gonna say because it's ambiguous. It's exactly what I said. I don't really know.
Yeah. I hated, for the first time in a Tarantino movie, I hated Michael Madsen. I thought he overacted or underacted or just did something, didn't do what I was expecting him to do. But we were joking around as we left because we were like, fuck this movie. And we were all 4 of us united against this movie. But we were talking about what would happen in the last hour. And we were like, you know what I hope? I hope that Michael Madsen is the only one in the house that was telling the truth. He was actually going to the other side of the mountain to see his mom and he actually had nothing to do with anything. Is that true? Or was he part of the whole saving Dahmer do?
Spoiler alert again, but Michael Madsen is, yes, a part of it.
Fuck, damn it.
Did you also hear about the celebrity cameo?
Channing Tatum?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I saw him shoot. He was the one who shot Sam Jackson's balls off, right?
Yeah.
Spoilers. We've already done that.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a fair point. And now that I'm thinking about it, I feel like he's usually given more to do.
Yeah.
Of course, Reservoir Dogs, and also definitely in Kill Bills. And this time he's just kind of.
He just kind of get caught.
A little long for the ride.
Yeah, he slathered in makeup. I thought he was wearing way too much makeup and just sitting there doing a cartoon voice. He's like, "Oh yeah, well, yeah, I'm just here going across to see my mom on the other side of the mountain." Like, it's a serious movie, Michael.
Yeah.
Enough of my griping about it. I think we had a couple of good lists of top threes.
Yeah, I think so too. I think we covered a lot of good content too. A lot of good shows and movies.
My takeaway is that I'm going to watch Narcos and I'm going to watch New Girl from this.
New Girl's so good, dude. I'm telling you, like, it's a certain kind of humor. It's like kind of like a cousin of Chandler Bing.
You froze. Well, whatever it is you're saying right now, I can't hear you. What?
He's like just. I think we lost connection.
Yeah, we did.
Oh, there you go. I think that's a sign from the gods.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Well, anybody who still made it this far, I'm so very proud of you, and I thank you, and Jake thanks you, and we're back. So there's going to be more of this to come. We're going to talk about trying to do the typical weekly installments. We'll see how our schedules shake out between Jake and I mostly, and then maybe celebrity guest interruptions from Toyias and other people. I think dabbling with Toyias is probably his legs. So
definitely.
Definitely. So yeah, we'll play by ear as always. But maybe next time we'll do preview of the coming year.
Yeah.
Before Deadpool comes out, so we don't have to have that in the rear view. It could still be anticipation. So
yeah, it's like 2 weeks comes out in.
Yeah.
If that. Quick plug. Troop 615 comedy podcast on Libsyn. It's Troop TROUPE 615 the number .libsyn LIBSYN.com. We're gonna come out with weekly installments of that comedy. But if you like improv comedy, if you like interviews and nonsensical humor and some playfully racist comments, it's the podcast for you. So look forward to that, and hopefully we can get maybe get Pat on one of those from across the pond or across the country, and there's my plug.
That would be fun. I would like to definitely jump on with you guys. I listened to the first one, and it's good stuff, people. So if you have time and the interest, definitely check out Jake's new, much more professionally done podcast. But we'll always be the OG, so we'll always have this.
Yeah.
So that was Hey Lady, You Call Him Dr. Jones, newest episode of 2016. And we'll be back soon, people. Thank you for watching Run the Julz.